So it's about time that I made one of these videos again. Honestly, it's just a chatting video. I don't have B-roll, I don't have any other extra footage. I'm literally just sitting in front of this camera talking off the top of my mind. I've got no script, I've got a slight plan, and I don't know what else to say to you, to be quite honest with you. So of course, to get you up to speed on what's been going on in my life, it's week 3 of the COVID-19 lockdown here in New Zealand, and for me, that has been both incredible and a little bit miserable. Now, on the incredible side of things, there's a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be happy for. First off, I of course still have a job. I haven't been sacked as of yet, as a lot of people are having to struggle with that. I've been privileged in the fact that actually I haven't had to do too much work, or any work to be honest with you, and I'm still earning money. I am so privileged, to be honest with you. I'm incredibly lucky. So of course, because of that, that means I've had as much time to myself as I want. It means that I've had loads of time to rest, to watch movies, to watch YouTube. On the flip side of that though, it has meant a lot of free time that I haven't been able to fill. And what I mean by that is very simply that a lot of the stuff that I do requires a lot of motivation, and I struggle to find motivation. And because of that, of course, negativity tends to take over in my head. I get really down. I think about the job that I have, and I think about the negative sides of that. I think about this creating that I do, and I think about all the stuff that I'm not so great at, and I think about the fact that I'm not full-time at it. I'm at a job that I'm privileged to have it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not overly keen on it. I don't enjoy it a ton. And like I said, I'm incredibly privileged right now to have that job. Please don't take it as I'm complaining about it. I complain about it a lot, to be honest with you, but I just want to make it very clear at the moment that I need to remember that how privileged I am to have that job, that I haven't even had to do any work for it, and I've got money coming through. And at the current time around the world, a lot of people don't have that privilege. But it's been really cool in terms of my time that I have been able to spend towards the stuff that I enjoy, my creating. It's been really cool to experiment, to do a whole lot of different things. So of course I've done some double exposures, which have been kind of interesting. I mean, they haven't been that incredible, and I honestly feel like double exposures are not necessarily overdone, but they're done so many times that people, I guess, can't find a way to really make it their own, and I struggled with that quite a bit. I kind of liked what I did in terms of adding color, because oftentimes double exposures don't have color, but it just wasn't something that I wanted to continue too much. I might do a few more here and there, but honestly, it's not that creative in my head. I'm not really digging that deep. I'm standing in front of a wall with a prop or something like that, and then I go outside my door and take a photo of something else, and honestly, it's not great. It's just what it is. Of course, with the photography, it's continued to be kind of good with the second idea, or actually it was the original idea I had. Now, to be clear, it wasn't my own idea. I did semi-take it from someone else. His name is Phil Dunstan Brown. He's a family friend, and he was doing it well and truly before me. But the idea of simply taking a scene and filling it with multiple versions of myself. He's done some incredible things. They're a little bit disturbing because in most of them, he's in this gold latex suit. And oh my goodness, is it a sight. But it's been really cool to experiment with editing, with actually coming up with ideas to fill these shots, because some of them I'm okay with, they're alright photos, but in terms of actually having a story, I guess, I'm not that stoked. I think the one that I'm most pleased with is very simply, I've got a photo of myself sitting in a sauna posing pretty stupidly, to be quite honest with you, and I've got a crew all around me of myself to take a single photo, and I kind of like that because that's how I am with most of my shoots. I have to set up everything before I start. I check everything. I'm at 15 places at once, and then it just comes down to one me talking into a camera, taking a photograph, doing something like that. And honestly, not only is the story really cool to that photo, but the actual results that I got out of it were quite cool. And of course, the final thing that I've been really enjoying creating, I've put out a couple of videos. They're pretty simple, but they've been super fun to challenge myself and make. And pretty much those are the videos where I've taken a quote, taken a speech, taken a poem, and I feel myself reciting them, to be quite honest with you. Now, I'll say this primarily, they're not perfect, but they are incredibly fun to make. They're something that I'm able to put my full heart in, because of course most of the messages behind them I believe in, and I don't know, it's something that is really, it makes me passionate, to be quite honest with you. Like, the words from that poem are incredibly beautiful. They're kind of sad in a very powerful way, and I love that. And then of course Charlie Chaplin's speech, I love the fact that here's this comedic actor and director who's never used sound before in any of his filmmaking, and he goes ahead and he does both of those. Well, he does his comedy, he does the sound, and then on top of that he turns around with this incredible message, especially in that form of that speech. And it's something that's so old now, over 50 years, well and truly. Of course it's over 50 years, my dad's over 50 years old. It's quite old now, and it still has relevance every single moment, especially at the moment. It's kind of crazy. But like I said, they're fantastic to do. They're great for learning. I've been practicing with my sound. I've just realized that my sound is peaking on my microphone. That's fantastic. It's fine. It's okay. We'll deal with it. But it's meant that I've been able to practice a lot of things. It's meant I can look at myself and go, I need to fix this. One was the sound. I've got something different going on. Of course, I've got this microphone right in front of my face here, which is kind of interesting, to be quite honest with you. I've been able to practice my filming myself, and honestly, that's a skill that is incredibly hard for the record. It's not something easy, and that's something that I've realized quite a bit. I mean, I've been doing it for such a long time, but particularly in those two things, when you're doing a short film, it's so difficult. I say short film with air quotations for the record. It's such a difficult thing to get right, because of course you can't add camera movements. You can't get the shots just right. Even the focus can be so difficult. Right now, like, I'm using the autofocus settings on my camera, and with a couple of those videos I would have liked to use that, but for whatever reason one of the settings was off, and of course now one of the shots is completely and utterly soft, which is not so good for me. I can't look at that now and go, oh, that was a great video. All I can see is that soft shot. And then on top of that, the framing of another shot wasn't perfect, simply because of course it was a different lens that I'm used to using, and of course I just didn't take the time to check right, and it wasn't that easy to check that that's correct. But the thing is, I created something, I pushed myself, I learned a little bit, and that is so incredibly important. So, of course, according to New Zealand's lockdown laws, we may have about a week left of this lockdown. And honestly, I have incredibly mixed feelings. Like I said, lockdown has been good and bad. But then on the flip side of that, I've got to go back to work. And again, like I said from that, I'm not too thrilled with my job. I'm incredibly privileged to have it, but it has its negative sides, unfortunately. I oftentimes feel really, really rubbish there, simply because of course I deal with people, and my job is quite a fast job. I have to be quite quick with the customers, and oftentimes they're in a bit of a rush, and sometimes that makes me feel just a little bit like I'm not worth the time, that I'm not even a person sometimes, to be quite honest. That's genuinely how I feel sometimes, and that's really difficult, to be honest. It's one of the things that I dislike about the job. Another thing is, of course, that I feel like it's a little bit useless in some ways. I mean, it has a purpose, but then I'm not doing anything that I consider important in the world. I'm not delivering a message. I'm not growing society. All I'm doing is handing out stuff that I kind of feel like a lot of people don't need. And all of that stuff has a whole bunch of garbage, which is polluting the planet, which is terrible. And I don't know, it's just not so great in my opinion. But to be clear, as I said, I am privileged to have that job. I really want to make that clear in this video. I do understand how lucky I am to have that job. It's just the fact that I'm not a positive person, and sometimes I struggle to see the positive in life. And it's been a year over at that job, and it's got very repetitive, and I'm negative, and I just rhymed, and I'm very proud of that. I'm not really, but we'll go with it. So, an entire week, what am I gonna do? Good question. I've got a script written down, and I don't really know how I feel about it. I'd like to make it no matter what, but I'm in a bit of a sinkhole. As I said, I struggle to find motivation often. And because of that, I can't get to this next step in this short film creating that I want to. And that's where I want to really create a storyboard for it. and that's something that I'm not that interested in. I don't really want to do simply because it's not that enjoyable, but I feel like it's important to do so to get the story right, to make sure I get all the shots right, and also because it's kind of professional and I kind of want to chase that. So yeah, that's what's been going on. That's what I want to do for the next little while, and that's the chat. I kind of hope it wasn't terrible, and I hope that you kind of enjoyed it, even though it's not all that interesting of content. But I guess it just shows that we're all in this together, and that we're all not so happy, and we're all in a terrible place. Well, not in a terrible place. Some of us are in a lot worse place. I'm more being sarcastic. I'm trying to be really careful with what I say, because I'm very privileged and I'm very lucky to be where I am. I just know that I'm quite negative sometimes. So, long story short, try to keep positive, even though we're not in such a positive time. Keep on keeping clean, washing those hands, and we'll get through this. Thank you for watching.